Hello and welcome. This is your GM in the Great Barrier, broadcasting from the center of your entertainment galaxy. We are going into what should be the last part of our episode in the port of Zethlor. Before we do jump into the game, I will say that for those of you catching it on the archive, welcome, and I hope that you are hope you're enjoying this. If you ever want to catch one of these shows live, you can always join us over on twitch.tv/GM in the Great Barrier. Give the channel a follow, and if you can catch it live, you can either watch this one or there is Star Trek Adventures Broken Sword. That is uh, Star Trek Adventures Aegis. That is our campaign set in the era of the Enterprise prequel, and it's a lot of fun either way. But for those catching it live and who don't know anything of the archive, or people that are just coming in new, we have a full YouTube archive presently up right now. We are also, um, we're not quite there yet, but there is, uh, things are being worked on to expand into broader podcast formats. So in the future, we might have other platforms that'll be available. Stay tuned on that. For any announcements whatsoever, you can follow at my Twitter, that is at GM_barrier. For those watching in the Twitch, I'm going ahead and supplying both links in the chat there, so feel free to give it a look in the future. But with all of that said, and with all the players present now, I think that we should best get started. So, when last we left off, the crew of the Jan, uh, an old but nonetheless tough Klingon raptor, had arrived at the port of Zethlor. This is a Klingon world on the very boundaries of the Empire, actually very specifically near a region that is known as the Borderlands, not just for being at the edge of the Empire, but for being along an area that is not so much governed as influenced by the Orion Syndicate. Uh, as such, the Empire, while it does have a bit of a presence, this is more the sort of place that is a confluence for rogues, pirates, and other unsavory characters, raiders. It is a good place for business in some ways, certainly for an independent crew such as yourself, even if
So you're saying it is a wretched hive of scum and villainy.
absolutely. Just a wealthier one than the one you came from. In any case, it is also the known one, so there are a lot of eyes that might be about the place, even if you don't see them. Uh, but in any case, you've made your arrival, and everyone has, a large portion of the crew has set about bringing on supplies. There was a brief separation of the away team where um, Dr. Kresick and Traven, the ship's Trill chef, had made their way out to the area to look for some medical supplies, and very nearly wound up on the pointy end of a Nausicaa's blade. But the situation was diffused, and you were able to escape, though another poor soul may have been less fortunate. Meanwhile, Tabak, alongside Woe, the ship's security, or certainly the most capable security person on board, along with the engineer Raldar and one of the other hired muscle that you acquired on an earlier mission, Dekoth, made their way to a sort of central hub of sorts, referred to as the Den of Iniquity. A mix of nightclub, some sort of establishment in that vein, a meeting place, and otherwise just a location where, well, you could strike up a great deal of business opportunities. In your case, of course, this meant locating possible candidates for jobs that you might be able to take on so as to continue to run the ship. It also did mean a brief encounter with some interesting characters. There was, of course, the impeccably coiffed and rather uncomfortable encounters with a Klingon whose name that you've not bothered to get to know yet, Tabok, but this Klingon certainly seems to have some fascination with you. Um,
I believe the word to best describe him is flamboyant,
Also known as gay
with
ass.
with emphasis on the flame.
quite possible. There was
Name of
also.
Kalis is bright in that one.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. There was also the encounter with a wild-eyed Nausicaan gentleman who seemed to have well, not he didn't entirely seem to have his wits about him, but he does seem to have a tip on some sort of mission, possibly involving some large type of cosmozoa that he has been pursuing for some time. Uh,
Right, Space
he,
Ahab.
yeah, he is the one you recognize by the name Bahan, or that is how he's been identified to this point. Otherwise, you've been supplied with materials, basically the info pucks, something that I think was well compared to the sort of data pucks that were present in The Mandalorian. Um, and this has given you essentially or there are a couple other jobs that could be picked up if you wanted to seek out contact with them. Um, Otherwise, the only other encounter of note was a brief meeting that Woe had with a Klingon captain, a man by the name of Onach, which supplied you some very interesting information. Woe, certainly as far as possible raiding areas go, ways you could make a profit by engaging in battle. It also proved interesting, however, because that name rang very familiar to the ship's Gorn engineer, Onak being a man out of a bitter chapter of his past, and one that he is most baffled to learn of being here. But with everything said and done there, uh, I believe the decision was to retire for that evening and hit back on the ventures the next day, looking up the remaining jobs and locating the suppliers for the other weapons and stuff. So I suppose we can cut back to the to a start back on the Anne. I think would be appropriate, unless you would prefer to have people meet elsewhere, or is there a general consensus on what you'd rather do?
It was on mute. Was that a question directed at me
Um,
or group in general?
if nobody else has an opinion, then I guess it would be Captain's prerogative here. So, does
Sounds
anybody
good.
want to voice an opinion?
Start with breakfast.
Start with breakfast.
I guess start with.
Uh,
I'm seconding start with breakfast just because I want to see what god awful shit gets made.
That's a good point.
yeah, yeah. Everybody back to the ship when the day is done because we don't need to spend money that we don't necessarily have on living space. We've got a ship that is home. So yeah, probably a good idea for that.
Indeed so.
Unless you find company in the city that you want to stay with for the night, but that's up to you. Don't get dead.
Not you, Traven. Not you.
Time to get dead.
No, you're not. You're not getting anything.
So good at it.
He might get paid one day.
Tuesdays when the payroll comes in.
Yes.
Next
Man,
Tuesday.
Tuesdays
do-
don't exist in the Klingon Empire.
It doesn't come till Tuesday. And Tuesday never comes.
Yeah, I know I was supposed to head back to the ship with Captain Crazy Pants and do a more detailed brain scan on him. So
Yep.
I would have just headed straight back.
Gotcha. Well, let's go ahead then and let's set it up the next morning. Kresic, we can give you that scene in a moment for certain, but until then, would you like to join in with the rest of the crew before
Yeah,
setting about the one scene? Okay.
yeah. I was not gonna do anything on Captain Crazy Pants while he was still alcoholed out. So
Yep.
these are all
And
very sophisticated medical terms I'm using here. So
obviously, yes. Dr. Kresic went to big important medical Gorn school. Um, but let
Wait,
us.
is that a school? Is that a big
We you
important
are
medical school or a medical school for big important Gorns?
yes.
depends on which Pakled was teaching it that day.
Oh.
Ooh, we look for things that make us sick.
In any case, yeah, they want to make sure that you are strong. Anyway, um, Packlets aren't even off their home world yet. Anyway, let us start that next morning. At this point, Traven, so far as the others go, at this point, whatever meal you're delivering to the crew, it will be to everyone present in the scene as is right now. Dakoth and Kelsa, both out of habit from their times on the farming colony, they had both eaten a bit earlier. Dakoth has just set about a watch with like one of the handful of good disruptor pistols that you have on hand, while Kelsa is just continuing to study the systems and perform minor bits of maintenance. So it is just you and what you would loosely call the senior staff.
Okay. I'm gonna walk in with all the food. So I didn't go special today. Just did a standard nice breakfast for you guys. I have bakol. It's a tea for those who don't know. And then I decided to pair it with blood pie just to start the day off with a kick. And
You made
Vopri,
Brokeg blood pie?
I did with what I could.
Oh,
And Vopri, I have some glass for you. It's a fungi.
This is more interesting. Did you prepare it raw, or did you roast it?
I roasted it.
I am very partial to the roasted. Thank you. Um, as to the blood pie, with the immediate caveat of you prepared it with what you could. Let's see how compromising on ingredients treats you. Let's call this control and science.
Daring and science.
uh, no, I'll let it be control because baking is a very specific art. I mean, it's not quite baking, but it enough. I am going to spend one threat to increase. Yes, I'm going to spend one threat just to increase the complication range by one.
You really want to threaten
So it's
that
at 3?
life, eh?
Complication range should be 2. The difficulty is
Okay.
also 2, so you just need to score 2 successes on this. For anyone joining us who is new to Star Trek Adventures, the game system that we use, made by Modiphius, it's a 2d20 system where the sum total of one's disciplines and attributes being softer, kind of general skills like one's daring, reason, insight, what have you, and disciplines being the more um, specific training, science, engineering, security, things of that nature. The idea is that you roll 2d20s by default and aim to either meet or get below the target score with each d20, which is the sum of the attributes and disciplines. In this case, Traven, you have a difficulty 2 roll, that is control and science. And there are two successes on the board.
Free time.
However, there is a critical failure on the board. Generally, those are only 20s, but because I spent a threat to increase the complication range, 19s and 20s both count for a critical failure. So, let me ask, Traven, would you like that to be narrative or threat? Or would you, since you still have some momentum from last time, I'm taking a little bit away just since it's been from between sessions, but would you like to buy off the complication? Would you like to accept a narrative complication? Or would you like to give the GM some threat back?
I want the cooking to go good this time, so
Just the threat?
yeah.
Okay. Well,
Afraid of the airlock.
well, actually, to be fair, you could spend the momentum to buy it off as well, without giving me threat. So just so you know, you have options.
I don't want to
I don't
waste
have a
it.
problem. I go ahead. I have no problem with you taking the
I do.
momentum.
I do.
You do?
You're not getting shit. You. We're starting to stay shitting our pants or not helping at all.
Damn it, Will.
Defend yourself. Defend your cooking like a real man. With the besides, your security is better than the captain. You won't die.
I think
We could do 1 and 1. A nice compromise.
Is that something
Give
we
him
can
1
do?
threat. And spend 1 momentum.
You know, I'd accept that. I'd ask for you to drop 1 additional momentum just to reflect time between sessions, but
Yeah, but that way we wouldn't have to spend 3.
yeah. So
that's a good compromise.
that is
Yeah, let's do that.
okay. So the GM will take 1 point of threat from that, and I believe, well, you are holding on to the momentum.
That's why she wasn't giving it away.
Abuse of power.
Yep.
It's not.
abuse of
It's
power.
not an abuse of power when you don't know what you're doing.
It's got to your head.
Oh,
Who's trying to? Why are you trying to
Oh.
steal my threat?
I'm sorry. I was clicking the wrong one. Listen, this is why I shouldn't be in charge of this.
Fair enough. Allow me to let's. Who would like to be the new designated momentum officer?
Oh, thank God.
Me.
There
Yes.
you. All right, Tabak. There you go. So we're starting from 3 points of momentum. So Traven, you were cooking. You cooked with what ingredients you could for this. While you had the actual you had most of the components. There were some spices or ingredients that weren't necessarily that you didn't have in the stores, but realized you could probably substitute. And you were tasting it the whole way to make sure that it would be okay. Um, a short while before the end of it, you realized that the substitutions might not pair well with everyone's physiology. Thus creating some major cases of indigestion. You found ways to compensate for that, however. So I will allow that the meal tastes passable, if maybe a little odd to some, but still at least good to the Klingon palate.
Good.
if you want, you can fluff roll how your character does with a let's say a fitness and medicine roll. But I won't force people to do that.
Oh no, if you're saying that he did well, I'm going to take he did well, at least from a Klingon standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Vopri isn't going to have any.
Yep.
It's a little too juicy for him.
Yes. He doesn't care for that type of protein.
A dash of cat goes a long way.
What was
What was that?
He said a dashing cat can run a long distance.
That's what I fucking thought.
Uh-huh. Okay. I thought he said something about Ipecac, and that was going to get me a little worried.
Oh God.
As you settle in to eat, Cheshire, the ship's cat, jumps onto the table from the seat at the edge and just bounds across very lazily.
Just as a reminder to everybody, if you want to know what Cheshire looks like, look up a Norwegian forest cat.
Oh my god, yay.
That's what Cheshire looks like. That's the breed of cat that my family breeds.
Your family breeds cats?
That's
I
one
love
of the
this.
things that we do.
That is quite spectacular.
I'm gonna make Cheshire a plate.
Do what? Make a
Make the
plate
cat
for
a
the
plate.
cat?
Yeah.
Oh, she'll eat it.
I thought you were going to make a plate out of the cat. I was confused for a second.
That would result in expulsion from an airlock.
In any case, yeah, the six of you are eating, or seven, I guess, with Vopri there, and yeah, as we've established, the other crew are either on watch or there's the Nausicaan that is presently sleeping off a bad hangover.
Azik's gonna kind of look over at Woe, and so was your room sufficiently cool last night?
That's a very old question to ask me. Shillings
Well,
for.
while you guys were gone, you guys were complaining about the temperature, so I took it upon myself to clean the cooling ducts throughout the ship. There's a lot of furballs, but they should be adequately cleaned out and repaired as needed, which didn't need a lot of repair, just a lot of cleaning. But you're welcome.
Whoa, kind of mouth. Finally, she's like, she looks at Traven. Wasn't that your fucking job? Aren't you the one that cleans?
I
I
cleaned
don't want him cleaning anything not related to food.
cross contamination.
That's not what he
No,
was saying
you
the
don't
other
know what
day.
you're doing.
That too.
Looks back at Azik. Thank you for your service. I don't know.
And I promise I did not go into anybody's room that didn't already have a door open. So that stack of magazines underneath your bed there, Woe, is safe and sound.
That's really suspicious now. This is getting... How did you even... What?
I go as it goes back to eating his soup or eating his breakfast.
Azik, I wonder how difficult that was crawling through the ducts with only one arm.
Well, it was definitely a handful.
Did you actually say that? Did you just make a joke?
I'd clap, but I misplaced my other hand.
Can we cripple him further now?
Before
I
he
could give
cripples
him
the
more
ship
hands.
further?
Do you need more hands? I could give him more hands.
We don't We don't need any of your parts, mate. Keep them to yourself.
You know, maybe one day, Kresic, the need might pop up where if we can figure out a suitable replacement for my arm, might be something that we discuss later on down the road. I'm very open to the idea, and I've finally met a scientific person that I trust, yourself, to do a proper job on it.
Good. Two hands are better than one.
Or better than 2.
Who said that?
What? I know who said it, but I'm not pointing any fingers.
At this point, I have finished eating. And I've kind of just like, as everybody knows, Kresic is trying to win over the trust of this emotional support mammal. So he has like dipped his claws in the remainder of like the bottom of the bowl of this Rokeg blood pie, and he just kind of like surreptitiously holding his hand out and wiggling his fingers, trying to get the attention of this mammal.
Tabak is watching, not quite surreptitiously, but just sort of as he continues to eat the pie, keeping an eye on the two of them, trying to see what's going to happen.
Just see Tabok's eyes bulging wide, and like very clearly the iris is following the exact motion. Kresic, let's see how you go. Let's see if let's call this a presence and medicine roll.
All right, and personal combat as my focus.
What?
No.
I don't think it's quite we're to that point of escalation with the cat yet.
All right, and what's the difficulty?
Let's call the difficulty on this one 2.
Yo.
And that is 2
Take that,
successes
cat.
there. The cat just kind of looks at at each of your claws as it as they move about. It looks over and just its eyes follow for a bit. Over a sustained period of time, it does crawl over very slightly and very furtively, lightly bats it with one paw. If you make no motion to stop it here or like to otherwise threaten it,
Nope, I won't.
okay, and it'll close the distance and start sniffing your claws individually. You even eventually start getting the light bit of grooming as it tastes the bit of Rokek juice.
Good animal. Good animal. Animals love me.
Do they?
Each of you may take it as you will from the 8-foot tall reptilian doctor, who is, as with a great many Gorn, imagine, like, even if he's not burly for a Gorn, he is still quite quite well muscled compared to most sentients, and certainly to most people in the crew here.
Just like my pets back home. All animals love me.
What sort of pets did you keep?
Sores.
Sores? What? You have wounds?
SAUR. SAR.
Oh. What are they?
large, scaly, 4 legs.
How large? Like same size as a targ?
About.
Interesting.
I don't know what I was expecting, but I guess that would be it.
How well do they breed in captivity?
Slow. Very slow.
Thinking of a new business venture there, Captain?
Always thinking of something new, or at least trying to. Something that can be good. That's something that can happen on the estate and not have to worry about it here. Thinking of actually getting some targs shipped home. We can start breeding them.
Yeah, our targ pit is rather empty.
Empty? Did we eat all of the targ on the way here?
We've been eating tag. Not Senor
Where do you
Fluffins. We
think the
didn't
meat?
eat Senor Fluffins, did we?
Who's that?
It's one of the tag. Did we eat all the tag?
All the eyes uncomfortably turn on
I'm gonna have to
Traven.
say yes. I'm gonna have to say yes if the targ pit is empty.
Oh God!
You're probably
You
nibbling on
sons
some
of
of them.
bitches!
You're probably nibbling on some of them right now.
Ow! She throws the blood pie.
Does he hit Traven?
Well,
I guess that's the question. Woe, were you throwing the pie at anyone in particular?
Yeah, the cook.
Okay, control and security difficulty 2, please.
Okay, hold on.
Now, did you aim as a minor action?
I think that the pie would count as inaccurate, so I don't think you could aim the pie. And Woe scores 2 successes there, so yeah. Is this the more cartoonish, top of the pie first, or are you throwing it more like a frisbee, dish and all? How's this? How do you imagine Woe is propelling this?
Oh, I guess she's not really looking at it. She just grabs the first thing that feels like food and throws it into his face as hard as
Okay.
she can.
Okay. Well, Traven, it does make contact with your face. Thankfully, she didn't grab the full plate. It's more clump of pie. It you've been eating long enough that it has cooled down, so you don't get anything. It doesn't burn you. You don't get anything in your eyes necessarily, but you have like juices on your face, bits of food now running down your shirt, and yeah, not the most pleasant sensation, let's just say.
You're now covered in Rokeg blood pie.
Joke's on you. You have less pie now.
And yeah, I mean, Tavok is just laughing uproariously at the whole throwing of the thing and the comeback. Yeah, absolutely, laughing his
You're
Klingon
very
little ass
close
off.
to dying today, cook.
Well, you see,
You brought him home.
And I regret it. 10 of you are not worth one Senor Fluffins.
At least wait to kill the cook until I've finished my studies.
I didn't
Krisick
even
is the
know there
only
was
thing.
targ on the ship. It was empty when I got here.
It was. Who's been cooking?
Sorry.
We didn't have Targ
Who's
until
been cooking?
no, we didn't have Targ on the ship until we got resupplied, and that was after we got Traven.
Yep.
Draven, are you even capable of killing a targ on your own?
It's not that difficult. Disruptor to the head.
Negatory.
No, but that wastes meat. You gotta use a knife.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
No.
Unless he's been disintegrating meat.
No. The disruptors don't. Disruptors don't have a stun setting. They do have kill and they do have vaporize. But just put it to the back of the thing's head. Don't done.
They have mostly dead and completely dead.
Yes. And then there's only partly dead all day.
I don't even have a gun.
Oh, there's plenty. There are plenty. And one of the tools,
Oh my
I'm pretty
god!
sure, one of the tools that would be in a Klingon kitchen would be essentially a bolt gun, like they use for cows.
Yeah, stunner.
That's neat. I have a gun now.
Well, Captain, I must ask, only since we are still in port, what remains to be done? Did you locate us? Did you locate a job for us as a crew? I'm sorry to
We
ask
have
this.
no. Ask. You're a part of this crew. We have leads that must be attended to this morning.
Just
That
tell me
should
where you
lead.
need them connected, and I'll connect them.
Tavok just pauses for a second, and then slowly he turns his head
I'll be on the
and looks
bridge.
at you.
He runs. He runs.
Azik, I will be needing you in sick bay.
But I'm not sick.
Our new patient claims to be a pilot. I need someone else who can fly to verify this.
Yes.
Have you spoken to the captain lately? I'm pretty sure pilot is not in my job description very.
You are the only pilot we have. You will do.
Yes, as often as you seem to crash the ship into planets. Yes.
I don't call it crashing. I call it landing gracefully against the planet.
Whose turn is it to groan audibly? Is it mine?
Yes.
You should get that looked at. When do you need me in the medical bay?
I'll let you know when he wakes up.
Wait. Why? I'm missing something in that part of the conversation. You want a new limb. You're not taking one from the drunkard and attaching it to him, are you?
No.
He's
am
taking
not-
both of them and attaching them to me. No.
I am not a pilot. Azik is. I need someone to verify that this Nausicaan, who claims to be a pilot, is what he claims to be, and not simply a fool.
I used to be a pilot.
That does not surprise me.
Were you better than Azik?
What did you used to fly?
Oh, that was 3 lifetimes ago. Mostly orbital and suborbital. Nothing too fancy.
Oh, my favorite is orbital. There's not a lot of things to run into.
Definitely wasn't a lot of traffic back then. Well, not as much anyway. Now there's luxury liners all over the place. It's a shame.
All right, so we're not disassembling the drunkard. Good.
People
Frankly,
aren't
Captain,
shits,
I'm
Captain. Please
insulted.
figure out how words work.
Frankly, Captain, I'm insulted you would think I would do that to a potential crewmate.
He might also simply be crazy.
In which case, he is still my patient.
For as long as he's alive, yes.
Indeed.
And that can be remedied.
Not in my sick bay. Once he
I can
leaves,
take him to the engine room.
once he leaves, he leaves.
Anyway. Traven, clean up the mess that you made.
What?
Yeah,
See about-
Traven, clean up
What?
the mess that you made.
Clean up the mess that you made. See what we can do about reprovisioning and refilling the targ pit. And if you stick gach in one more piece of pastry, I will feed you to the targs.
Y'all are about to get Klingon food packs for the next 2 days.
If they're Traven flavored, I can go for that. Moving along. We have two different jobs to check on. I'm trying to decide who I wish to bring with me. Who is the least annoying today?
I feel like it would be Raldar, right?
Raldar, yes.
Yeah. Maybe you need me to fix your chair heater again.
No, you're going to accompany me, and so will Woe.
Yay!
Oh, you want to look intimidating.
It helps. Even among Klingons. Even among Klingons. You two are intimidating.
High five, Raldar. She
High
brings her
five.
hand up.
High five.
Which is funny because Raldar only has 3 fingers and a thumb.
What? When did that happen?
Gorn don't have 5 fingers.
Oh! 4 or 5.
Yep. The 8-foot tall Gorn engineer and the 9-foot tall Kazinti
Crazy Kazinti woman, yes.
yes.
Also known as my security officer.
Yep. Yes, the high five is probably enough to cause structural damage somewhere. But then Woe's already been meeting that quota, kicking down every door that she gets to.
Oh yes, oh yes.
So, in any case, Woe and Raldar are accompanying you for your objective. Poprai turns us. Oh, you will see to the the jobs then, Captain.
Captain went to a bio break.
Oh, gotcha. Um, um, in that case, we'll let him settle up on those options there, and I suppose, does anybody else have other things that they would want to do in the course of the scene here? Well,
I'm cleaning currently.
seeing none, I suppose. We'll give it the.
Query. Are we going to Woe's lead? Or are we just going to go interview people first?
Well, if you voice it with Tabok once he gets back, then that may. Oh, yeah. You can bring that up in character now. I'm sure it was on the docket, but I don't think that Tabok had all of the information that you do, so that would be, um, you know,
Okay.
you can voice them.
Captain.
Yep.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, please.
So when I was having my little drinking buddy competition last night, I was given a name that I've kind of known in the past. Not quite, but kind of. So I was thinking
What do
maybe
you
we
mean?
should go. He can give us work and access to weapons for the ship. Stuff like that.
Shipboard weapons? Or
Yeah. Shipboard weapons.
who is this?
His name's Hadron.
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 Who and what is he?
What is he? He's a bit of a coward, but he's a pretty good coward, you know. You shake him a little bit, he pisses himself, and then you go about your day. But I think we need to go pay him a visit. I might prefer to do it alone, though.
When I said what is he, I was referring more to species.
Yeah, I don't know species. I'm kind of species blind.
Uh-huh. How do you know this person?
We made deals with him in my former crew.
Can you be more specific?
Nope.
Why?
Well, it kind of ties into as to why I prefer to go alone, Captain.
Keep your communicator handy.
Thank you, Captain.
That gives us 3 potential leads for business now. 4 if we count Captain Crazy in the sickbay.
I wasn't there at the time, but do you still need me to watch your back from what was it? That one guy, the one that eyed you carnally.
The one that what?
Who's giving you the eyes? I think Raldar told me he desired you carnally.
Which is odd.
Excuse me.
I know. From Tabok's point of view, it's odd.
Yeah, don't. Why is it odd? I'm sure Tavok's an ocular confection. For sure.
I have never heard that expression before in my life. That is amazing.
Yeah.
And even Tabok laughs when you say that. So. I don't know what his deal was. I don't know what business he was offering.
I mean, from the sounds of it, I do.
As you say. Go talk to your contact. As I said, keep your communicator handy. Keep me appraised of the situation. And then we will meet probably back at that establishment.
All right, Captain. See you then. I'm gonna have Woe go to her quarters and kind of get dressed up for this.
Gotcha. All right, so I guess, are there any other things that all of you want to do while you are together in this scene? I put the question to everybody earlier, though you were away, Tabak, when that happened. So if there's um, any other things you'd want to discuss, then
I'll take the Koth with me as well instead of Woe. Assuming that all of his ribs are still intact.
They should be.
Should be.
Should be.
Only flesh wounds, Captain. Nothing I can't heal later.
Hey.
Dikoth poking his head in from amidst the watch.
I'll also check on Kelsa and see what she's been doing.
Okay. So, in that case, I guess, yeah, we can break up the scene here and set everybody to their own little things then. Does anybody else want, like I recall, Kresik, you wanted something with Azik and Bahan?
At some point in time. It's not necessary to happen now.
Okay.
We can advance the main plot before we come
Yes.
back to that.
We'll let him. We'll do one scene out on the town, as it were. Come back to the Yan for a moment, and then go back out. Otherwise, let's see. So Tabak, Raldar, and Dakoth head out for one team. Woe is going out on her own. Would anybody else want to be interested in leaving the ship or doing something either out there or on the ship? I guess particular questions go to Traven and Azik, since your main characters may be staying back for this one.
I'm gonna look for the I totally forgot the dog.
The Targs?
Yeah, I'm gonna look for the targ.
Spectacular. I love this. We'll definitely we're definitely going to set that up here and do a little bit. Yep. Anyway, so while all this is going on, first let's see, Tabak and Woe. I'm going to ask both of you to roll me a single D20 here.
Alright.
And just for those watching, we do play with a small little house rule that I like, where for kind of a narrative initiative purpose, I do from time to time ask players to roll off for scenes like this. Because this is Star Trek Adventures, I tend to treat it as the lower roll, being the gaining preference there, and it looks as though Woe is going to beat them out. There was a 5 and a 7 rolled, and Woe with the 5. You may go first. Or you may elect to pass if you wish, but it is.
Do you mind if I pass now and then come back to it?
Sure thing. We can definitely do
Alright,
that.
cool. Thank you.
Okay. So, Tabak, Raldar, the two of you head out of the ship, moving towards. Once you are gathered with whatever equipment you need, you make your way towards the elevator that will go through the bowels of the ship and deposit you on the ventral end of the ship. Perchance, are you taking any particular special equipment with you?
Yeah, just a gun.
Gotcha. Raldar's got his handy disruptor. Tabak, are you bringing anything outside of the normal mechleths and I guess one of the handful of substitute disruptors? Are you there, Tabak? Maybe
Yes,
me.
I am here. Sorry, something. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you now. We're all good.
Okay, my internet connection apparently blipped on me. I don't know why or how. Anyway, yes, I am wearing my armor. I've got my necklace. I've got my tag. I've got my disruptor pistol.
Okay. And Dekoth will also head out. Will head out correspondingly armed. We
Yep.
can give him a disruptor. Joe, would you like Dekoth once more?
I would be glad to.
All right. So the three of you head out about the town. In the morning hours here, it is a little bit. It's still actually quite dark and somewhat gray in this hour. I would say that as you go from the relative clearing that featured the where the landing ports were built into, um, and start following the paths into the very jagged mountainous area, you can scarcely see any of the peaks because there's something of either a very low cloud line or possibly fog that seems to inhibit your view. The skies are overcast and the ground is dry and crackly as you walk through. Although it is not quite so bright, the area is still a fair hotbed of activity. The stalls are still active with any number of vendors that have slightly recalibrated their wares for whatever morning trade. Uh, there are probably still some other ship crews that are out and about, possibly a few more locals. Although this area of the port that you have found is probably doesn't cater too much to them. And there's more along the lines of junk food stalls. Junk food stalls, now that I think about it. Possibly some people trying to hawk off other types of weapons or shipboard equipment of variable qualities, some more easy to discern than others. Um, the One of the pucks that you have, Tabak, does actually, upon being interacted with, does supply you instructions that directs you on a vague sort of topographical map and gives you a site to approach. There's actually an area that during the walk you eventually get to see. There's a lot of these structures in the area that you're traversing are more tents and prefab structures, but there are a few places that were seemingly built of more specialized indigenous material. One of them that is visible from a distance appears to be a roughly three-story simple domed building of some sort, a bit weather-beaten, but from what you can tell, it is the first site essentially that you would be heading towards.
Okay.
Yeah. So, on your way there, do any of you wish to do anything else in particular, or talk amongst yourselves here?
I'm here to get the job done. Klingons aren't known for their small talk.
Fair enough. Well, neither Araldar
Gorn, however, I don't know.
yeah, neither Araldar nor Dekoth have anything to say, then we can simply cut ahead. Uh, and it is a pretty simple or relatively uneventful trek, I would say. The building that you arrive at seems to be long since like it's probably one of the oldest structures on the colony, at least from what you can assess here. It's definitely of Klingon construction. Uh, the sign in very there is a single metal sign in very worn out, rusted away Klingonese, um, and as near as you could make out, the only loose words that might remain are simply bar. So it is, if there is something more to this place than it has long since faded with time.
And which one of these people is the puck bringing me to at this point? We had the two potential targets.
There was something to do with from what you remember, basically a retrieval mission or bringing somebody from someplace to another. It was heavily implied to not be kidnapping, but that, of course, depends. You know, you may want to double check the context before you take the job.
Yeah, definitely.
So, um,
So we got go into the building.
all right.
If the puck is going off in my hand, the puck in his hand or pocket or whatever should be going off.
Yep.
So he should know that I'm coming.
Yep. You enter into the building. It's relatively empty. The bar that you found appears to be a multi-story affair. On the first level, there's probably a handful of kuha that are sitting about drinking some blood wine. There's one kuha bartender, another Orion among them, tending to things. Um,
Male or
they're
female? The Orion.
male.
Okay.
Yep. The puck would actually suggest the reading is coming from upstairs, where there's a fair bit of noise.
All right. Stairs?
Yes.
Elevator?
There's a sort of circular ascending staircase, or very somewhat circular. I would say the walls are maybe it's more like hexagonal on the inside.
Yeah, probably to take advantage of having straight lines.
Yep. So.
Okay, so yeah.
Three of you head up then?
Yep.
Yeah. I don't see a
what
point.
We got.
It's probably a little narrow for the Gorn, but you know.
Yeah.
I can bend it.
Yeah. I mean, the stairs were meant to accommodate like a few people being able to walk up or down. So, Raldar, it's probably just at the edge of what you would consider comfortable. It's a good thing these stairs too seem to be reinforced because they seem a bit old, and you're really not sure whether you would trust anyone's weight on these, if not for a few signs of renovation. So upstairs, upstairs you see signs of a crew that you would guess probably just got in because they seem fresh and animated and are just busy singing songs of some sort of combat. They appear to be in some sort of more ornate armor of some sort, and there's a little bit of it seems by and large that they are Kuchawi, so the more exaggerated form of Klingon, shall we say.
Oh, they had a little bit of work done.
Yep. Nick, like on a table far near the stairs, and with the unmistakable sign of an information puck or like one of the tracker pucks that is going off, sits a figure that you vaguely might have seen from the club. He seems to be largely hooded and bears signs of being Klingon as well. He is tending to some sort of drink.
Well, look over at him, start walking over towards him. Is he also Kuchowi? Or
you can't quite tell from the hood with the hood just yet.
Okay.
As you approach, he glances at his own puck, which is starting to beep a little more vigorously. I sincerely hope you are not here to waste my time, Klach.
Certainly hope you're not here to waste my time. Shall we begin?
He mulls it over for a moment and then just shakes his head, kicks off his hood, and let's add a little bit more of a picture here for everybody. So as he carts back the hood, you see an older man, indeed Kuchawi, but one who has had the level of work to actually have, say, has not gone so far as to diminish his functional hair follicles, or has maybe had a bit more treatment in order to maintain some level of balance. As he casts back the hood, the cloak also recedes a little bit. He seems to be wearing something that is like armor that has some utility but has the slightest hint of more finery about it. He is somewhat aged and wizened, although you could tell even among the ridges there are just signs of stress that burrowed deep into his face. Come, sit. I presume
I sit down at the table.
the one bold enough to speak, you lead this crew.
These are members of my crew. Yes.
There's the mildest flash of disdain, but only for a moment. Very well. Tell me of what is your ship capabilities? Who are you?
I am Tabak of the House of Cord. I captain the Yan. She is old, but she is capable.
Kind of narrows it.
You have cargo, the kind that's on two legs that needs to go somewhere. Yes?
I do.
Where is it, and where does it need to go?
I have one person that needs to be picked up. One who must be treated with reasonable care. We expect if you find him with all his limbs, then he returns with them. He is a lone Kohawi, such as myself. Younger and somewhat less capable. He has more nose to get himself into trouble. He is on Lam Colony, and his last message. There's only one settlement in that area, and in all likelihood he is out about on a lone or on in the settlement's tavern or in something of the sort. He is a little too partial to. He just kind of shakes his head. This man does not want to particularly be here.
That much is obvious. And who is he to you?
He is someone I am tasked with bringing back home. And that is all that matters.
Does he want to come back home?
He will come home whether he wishes to or not.
See.
In any case, it is better for his health and for many others that he return.
Is there an issue of honor?
Oh, I certainly hope not, but not for him anyway.
But for his house?
I never said he was part of a house.
than of his family.
The old Klingon man looks at you, just absolutely trying to maintain a stone face. It is certainly in the interest of his family and those that need him that he be returned. Specifically, that you bring him back here, and that you, when you return, that you will be prepared to meet with me. I can
I
see
need
to the
his
rest.
name, and I need his name and an image, and I need a name to identify myself as the agent thereof.
I will see to it that you are supplied that information. But
And
until I am...
unfortunately, I must also ask what form of compensation for my time.
Of course, you will be paid for your work here. Um, as he produces as generic a Klingon data pad as one could expect to see. I dare even go so far as to say, as it is meant to be a burner pad of sorts.
Bought at the Radio Kushak.
Exactly. There's still one of those on this planet. Um, but yeah, Tabok, go ahead and as you look over the pad, I'm going to ask you to give me a command and insight roll here.
I don't suppose any of my foci are going to fit.
Well,
That's extraordinarily doubtful that any of my foci would fit.
you know, while this isn't exactly Orion business practices, you probably had some related training in the in terms like you could probably apply some of those techniques to help you here. Just because you're not dealing with an Orion doesn't mean that there isn't some universality to the business element here.
All right, so that was again insight and what?
Insight
Command?
and command.
Okie dokie.
And the difficulty on this roll is going to be 3.
Oy, thanks. Great. Okay.
You do have momentum if you wish to spend it.
Yep, well,
That is one success. So I can at least say the based on what you're seeing, the individual that you're speaking with is supplying you a pad that basically they are prepared to pay you a certain number of Klingon marks that would be maybe not the most generous, but it's you'd guess it seems fair for what you're doing. It's certainly enough to help keep the ship supplied, and or it would definitely make a bit of a dent.
what would make a dent in small house's finances?
Uh,
Or
in
not having the money would make our
in
lives more difficult?
in an old small like for the captain of an old small ship, it's definitely helpful. This probably isn't going to do much to turn around the House of Chords finances, but it's
No, not one job.
yeah.
All right. So he's basically handing me the pad, telling me how much they're paying me. To give me the target's name.
Yes. Actually no, it doesn't include that information just yet. Um, should you choose to accept this work, Captain Tabok, then we will relay the information to your ship. I must ask, are there
Half now.
half of this sum for an old for an old ship and a captain that I do not know?
And the only And the only captain who has come forward willing to do this job.
Before we engage in this deal, I should know, will there be any issues that your crew should expect, any trouble from others that I should know about?
Meaning what?
My benefactors do prefer to know. We understand that places like this are havens for the unsavory, but we do.
That's why you're here. You don't want this to be broadcast, or you would send your own people, or more official people. You can't be picky about who you get to do the job when you're searching here.
He looks as though he's got a very mild affront about him, but he swallows his pride and says, "Perhaps not. I will provide you 20% of the initial payment, and the remainder when
25.
you're 25, but no more."
Then I accept.
Very well. I will relay the information to you.
I give him my address.
Yep. You do the exchange of information, contact information. My ship will relay a signal to you before you leave orbit, and we will supply you all you need to know about the passenger.
Are we working under a schedule?
It would be preferable that they be brought back sooner rather than later. However, as I understand it, the colony is a far ways off, so...
Then good. That is settled. Would you care for a drink?
I have no appetite to deal with this further, he says, leaving what drink he has aside, and leaving just a small... I would imagine that if there is some small sort of concrete token of some sort or other currency that the bar prefers to accept, given the Orion patrons, I don't believe that latinum is quite the commodity that it becomes in later years.
No, no, that's still from the Ferengi. So yeah, probably the Orions would have their own coinage.
Yeah, I imagine they leave something behind then to that effect. So yeah, you are left alone in the bar.
And he leaves?
Yep.
No, I'm left there with, Raldar.
Yeah, Raldar and Dekoth, who have hung back and kept relatively quiet. As the Klingon looks back to you, he says, Should you have any need for anything further, Captain Tabok, you may reach out at the with the information I provided you. Request Bemots.
Bemots?
Yes.
As you wish. We will see you soon.
And yeah, he will otherwise leave.
Raldar.
Yes.
Thoughts?
Yeah, some honcho and getting his kid in trouble. We get paid to take care of it.
Assessment. The cough Have you any thoughts?
You're safe. We didn't have to fight anybody. So far, so good, Captain.
Right then. Nobody looks. I swipe the coins off the table and we walk out.
Oh boy. So the
And did he leave the pad?
he did leave the burner pad for you.
Okay. Raldar, would you take a look at the pad as best you can and make sure there's nothing untoward in this casing?
Can I
Either physically or digitally.
All right.
As we're getting ready to leave, can Dekoth do a kind of a notice roll to see if anybody else is taking interest in our leaving?
You may roll
do
an
that too, but yeah, you go ahead.
you may both roll an insight and security roll. The difficulty on that roll, I'll set it to 2 for this one. Actually, 2 will be the base level. You may learn more with a higher roll.
Is my Orion business practices role still, or focus still going to apply?
You know, for Japes, for you, Tabak, I think I will still give you that.
Wait, I need to do
Alrighty,
insight
then.
security to check the pad.
No, this is Dekoth and Tabak. If you want to check the
looking
pad
to see
now,
if anybody noticed this.
yeah.
I would like to use a momentum to give myself 3 dice. The captain's safety is of utmost importance to Dekoth.
Fair enough. Tabak, you swiped it. You got a couple more coins than you were expecting. A nice sized paycheck on the way, and a fairly straightforward smash and grab mission, or rather, escort mission of sorts. So you're expecting everything should be all nice and fine. You're feeling good, and you don't notice shit as a result.
Yeah.
So that's what one success gets you on that. Dekoth, you roll 2 successes, so you at least get the minimum bit of information. However, you have also rolled a complication with that third die. So
Have some threat.
I'm going to ask, do you wish to give me some threat? Do you want to buy off that complication with momentum, which since Tabak hasn't dropped one, that would empty your pool of momentum, or you can accept a narrative complication.
You know what? It's my favorite time of the month, I think, or the favorite time of the year with Halloween. I think let's give the GM some threat.
Oh, delicious, delicious threat. I will take 2.
You don't deserve
Happy
that.
Halloween.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And a merry spooky
You're ruining
season
my
to
favorite
you.
time of the year.
Ho ho ho.
Oh, it should come out more as roar, roar, roar.
Coward.
Anyway, so Azik, you do notice that while Tabak
Dekoth.
is
Not Azik. Dekoth.
right, thank you very much. Dekoth, you do notice that as Tabak is moving along, I'd say his chest out proud and a big wide Klingon grin. The bartenders are just giving him the stink eye. One of them is clearly aware that Tabak swiped the tip. They've opted, rather than turn the bar into a mess, which this most assuredly would be, with considering his escort. They're letting him go this time, but coming back here might be more of a problem. Raldar, you on the other hand are focused on the pad. and I didn't actually assign a difficulty for your task, I am going to say retroactively that it was only a difficulty of 1, which means that with the 2 successes you've rolled, you do earn back a point of momentum. The pad is as straightforward a setup as it is. There are definitely ways that harmful programming could have been uploaded, but that does not appear to be this older Klingon's wheelhouse or anything that he set up. So you are good to go. It's exactly what it says on the tin.
Great. It's not a bomb.
Yes.
Digital or otherwise.
Yes. Nothing to worry about there. For the rest of the the 3 of you head on out, and I think now would be a good time to jump around a little bit. Let's see. First, I guess, let's take a quick look back at the ship, and then we can center back in with Woe, and then perhaps after that, either do one more thing at the ship or get the other mission done. Yes.
I don't mind if it's a full pendulum swing. Ship, whoa, ship, us. I'm good with that.
Yeah, that'd work. Anyway, so I guess right now we have. I think that the best place to start this off then would be sickbay, where let's see, we would have to set the scene. Will is not there.
He's not there.
Yep. Dr. Kresick, we cut in with you where you are currently monitoring your Nausicaan patient, who is beginning to come out of his stupor. As a small reminder, the Nausicaan that you encountered, Bahan, he's quite the he's quite the odd specimen. In particular, he's suffered numerous burns and other sundry injuries, most of which seem to have healed properly. However, he does seem to have a bit of a rig that is holding a part of his neck and spinal column properly together. He has like proper bolts in him, which thankfully is very stable because it allowed for him to be carried out of the room or out of the bar with a little more ease. But yeah, he seems to be very slowly, very steadily waking up. I think at this point, Azik would also be joining you in the room.
I would
Sure.
imagine so.
Eating one of the leftover gawk pockets.
It's cold now.
It's dead now.
Yes, it is. I'm sure Kresick is that Azik is no.
Dead.
Yep, Azik is remains the most puzzling among the Klingons here.
He does. But that's a question. That's a matter to discover at a different time.
Yep. So
Azik. This is our potential second pilot.
Somebody's getting ready to vote me out for pilot, are they?
I doubt it, but you cannot fly the ship all day.
I'm sure with your help we can make that happen.
It would be deleterious to your health.
Yeah, you're probably right. Doctor knows best.
Of course. Well, And I inject him with a hypo to wake him up.
He grumbles for a moment and just kind of sputters before his eyes open wide. Ah! What? Where am I? What?
You are in my med bay. You passed out drunk.
This. Uh, do I have a new crew? His eyes flare wide as he shakes some of his long dreadlocks out of the way.
That depends.
On? What is it? Am I a prisoner?
You are not a prisoner. You are my patient. Azik,
As to not
know if you can fly.
as to not scare him, I'm going to be standing so the missing arm isn't as visible.
Okay, so your profile's set such that he can see your left arm holding the gach pocket. Is that food?
Why, yes. Would you like to try some? It was delicious.
I don't recall the last time I've had food.
I hand it to him. It's lukewarm.
I believe we have him currently in the main, like the most rigorous of the biobeds, such where restraints could have been active. Did you happen to have
Okay.
restrained him or Bahan, Doctor?
I did not.
Okay,
He was pretty well passed out. I didn't feel any need to restrain him.
gotcha. He'll initially just try to reach out with it, like raising his head and his jaw to take a bite, but then he'll remember his arms. He's like, oh, and he'll reach out with both hands, take the gach pocket, and start taking a few bites. Oh, I, I feel something. A sensation. This is incredible!
Good.
For those at home who cannot see the rolls, he rolled on a fitness and medicine score. Like with a fitness and medicine roll, he rolled a 9, which those are two of his worst stats. So Bahan was just always meant to love cold gach pocket. Gach pocket. It's digestible. Possibly.
You may be serving on this crew if Azik, and I point toward Azik, deems you useful aboard this ship.
If this is your ship's cook, then I will do whatever I can to help him.
This is not the cook. This is the pilot.
Well, you are a talented chef and a true honorable Klingon.
Well, I try my best as I deceitfully try to, just throw that under the table. So you've piloted before?
A little bit. Well, when necessary. He says, taking a few more bites. I much prefer the charting of and study of space. More the science behind it, navigation, if you will.
Oh,
And really, quite it's quite a well. it started as a hobby. And I figured, why not get paid for it while you're at it?
What size of ships have you had experience with?
Oh, dozens of small ships, I suppose. If I oh dear, do you get meta speak from these from time to time? I was just thinking that I've mostly been on ships that are more scale 2s, maybe 1s every so often. That is in fact meta speak for the audience and home.
Gotcha.
Starships come in
We're
a
scale
variety
2,
of
right?
Yes, precisely.
Okay.
This is where we're probably going to have to do some meta speak too, because I have an idea in my head, but I don't know how well it'd play out in actual speaking. I'm going to describe to the guy a maneuver through an asteroid field that's pretty common for like level 1 trainees of ships, right? And I'm trying to kind of like an interview question, like describe how you would handle this situation with flying through an asteroid, point A to point B, with several unknown asteroid composition in front of you from point A to point B, to try to get his insight to that.
Well, he thinks over the question, and I would say with 2 successes, he's able to answer things reasonably well. Well, for one, I generally wouldn't traverse asteroid fields unless it were a particular objective. And that being said, if it's chances are you can find a less dense cluster. Most outside of a few freestanding debris fields, there are rarely times where where space rocks like that are going to be as clumped together. That being said, fairly standard use of navigational sensors, application of maneuvering thrusters rather than impulse, and well, at least for ships of a certain small size, above a certain point, I'd think that the deflector would be better able to screen out some of that material. He begins posing counter questions to the scenario just to discern the specifics. Questions which suggest he is indeed informed on the.
Okay. Next question. What are the landing procedures typical for a docking port such as the one we are currently on? Same kind of deal, just trying to get an insight to his abilities.
Well, you talk to traffic control for one thing. Let me say, they don't take very kindly to the idea of you just landing or crashing here, but I'm sure you don't have to worry about that.
I kind of smirk a little bit. No, you really don't. Well, what about landing with minimal power available? Do you would you take? At what point would you take life support off in order to put more power to the engines to be able to land safely?
Oh, what type of terrain are we landing on?
Asteroid with an unknown gas composition that may or may not be hallucinogenic.
Oh, I probably wouldn't land there to begin with. That sounds like a bad idea. Have you considered just wearing alternating spacesuits until life support is repaired?
If we had ones that fit certain crew members, then we might consider that. But
wait, what?
Yes,
one final question.
Is rather small. He does not fit the same size life support suits as us.
You are doing this Nausicaa a concern.
One final question. Are you allergic to cats?
Cats. Oh, the small, that's a Terran creature, isn't it? The feathery ones, with the bills and the webbed feet.
Sure. Ours is a mutated version of that, yeah.
A mutant. Oh. He's just utterly spaced out. As you observe the awe in his eyes, the doors to sickbay open, and you see very quickly the furtive popping in of one Traven Lex, taking a quick peek around the room.
I should correct myself for the gawk pocket earlier. The mastermind behind that cuisine, when it was cooked, is of course Traven, our cook.
Hi.
You need to make more of these.
Oh, I've not seen. I have seen a targ before, yes, but I don't. I don't know. But this food is delicious. Yes.
You like my food?
Yes, this skark pocket is. That's what they called it. Something about the dead worms and the pastry. It all works.
He gets it. He gets it.
This Nausicaan's kind of growing on me, Traven. I think he could definitely serve us well. Obviously, the captain gets final say. But what do you think?
Vote. He's definitely got my vote.
There we go.
One more question. Your previous crews. What happened to them?
Let's. Oh dear, let's see. That's going to be a roll here for him, and I'm gonna go ahead and dump in. Yeah, just a point of threat there. So let's see. Hey,
Excellent.
my crew, my crew. Wait,
Oh.
no, we must. It's here. Oh, in space. Have we found it? Is it found? It will kill you all. It is cunning. It is cunning. It is murderous intent. Give me the blood wine. Where?
As this is happening, I'm getting readings from him.
That boy ain't right.
Very well. Oh, reason and medicine. Difficulty 1 with the ship assisting. Computers and medicine can assist you here for the ship.
Any of my focuses apply? Xenobiology, psychoanalysis.
Psychoanalysis definitely works.
Supernatural stuff.
I refuse to use that. What's the difficulty?
1.
And the ship is assisting with what?
It is with computers and medicine.
Who would like to roll for the ship?
Don't everybody
Food
know.
has medicine. Yeah.
Oh, somebody's got it?
Fucking. There it is, Jan. Computers. Medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
All right, so you do
Hey.
earn back a point of momentum. but you don't need that extra point to tell you that you have put this man into a full-blown panic attack. Congrats. Um, there is a very the moment that he snapped back to his memories, which you could only guess had been compartmentalized. He's gone into just a complete state of shell shock, incoherent blathering, and is otherwise showing biological readings that for us can show the equivalent of extreme stress reactions.
Alright, I'm gonna give him a drink.
Gotcha. I will allow you to administer that without issue, and he will begin to steadily the panic will die in his eyes, and his face will begin to ease a little bit, and he'll just lay back and rest.
Clearly, he is unstable.
Azik will kind of sigh of relief and, well, my job's secure.
Azik, your thoughts? Is he worth the captain's time?
Well, he definitely knows his stuff. I give him that. He has a fine taste. As I put my hand on Traven's shoulder, he's got a fine taste in cuisine. Little bit of a powder keg. Not sure he's all ticking there with all warp nacelles in the old head there, but definitely could be. He said he had navigation skills, so might benefit us to, at least have some help with navigation. But yeah, I think. You know what? Command decision? Yes. I think he would do well for submission to join our crew.
Understood. We will inform the captain when he returns and let him decide. But I will be placing him under your watch. If he breaks, let me know immediately.
Okay. Can we put one of those little monitors on him? So, like they use for people who aren't supposed to go with it outside of like 10 feet of the ship, that if his brain thing starts kind of triggering, that it alerts you or somebody.
I'm sure I could work with someone to make that.
Hey Doc,
Yes.
could you prescribe him daily medication to like calm him, make sure he's like calm throughout the day?
Daily medication would be ideal, as would therapy. But it takes time and money, two things I doubt we have.
Wouldn't you know it, Traven? This ship does not have a ship's counselor, nor does it have the.
I am the ship's counselor.
I can be a ship's counselor.
I'm good at talking with people.
Oh.
This is not a I'm Spartacus moment, you guys. We're not doing that.
You're a giant cat. You're basically a counselor.
I
All
honestly
cats are.
Seriously?
The
I
emotional
honestly
support
thought Woe
Woe.
was. Yeah, I honestly thought Woe was the ship's counselor. I mean, if somebody gets out of line, she cuddles with them and they get better.
Really?
Or they die.
Okay.
Or they die.
Well, that gets the.
When
not,
have they
you know,
ever died?
I'm sorry, the last person you cuddled will never have children.
Wasn't a cuddle. God.
That's the closest
You
I've
people.
seen. Well, the closest Tabak has seen. I mean, I know that. What was it? Which one was it? Was it Kresic? No. Yes, it was Kresic who cuddled with you in your quarters.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Bow chicka bow wow.
No bow chicking.
Absolutely none.
To answer your question, Traven, yes, it can be done.
Well, that might help a lot with the captain's decision.
Indeed. Very well.
That's a good idea, Traven.
Thank you.
We will discuss this with the captain when he returns. Thank you, Azik, for your help.
Just remember that when the captain says, "Hey, we're going to vote on pilot," I'm pointing at myself. Just remember.
He even said he was not a skilled pilot. He is a navigator. Why would I vote for a navigator?
The captain can be pretty persuasive. I mean,
I work with the captain, not for him.
makes sense. Is there anything else you need? A scan of my arm, perhaps?
If you wish.
I'm looking for the targs, wherever
There
they
are
went.
no targs in my sick bay.
Do you know where they could be?
I go to sick bay and the mess hall. I do not wander the ship aimlessly. So no.
Azik, have you seen the targs?
I have. I don't remember.
Don't we have sensors for this sort of thing?
Oh, yeah, that's true. Computer. Hello, computer.
You find the nearest mouse-like implement.
So
I'm
glad somebody got that reference.
I'm sure
No, no,
whatever
no
you are
way.
doing. I am sure whatever you are doing is important and can be done outside my med bay, unless you need medical attention.
I walk out and go find the nearest, or go to find the nearest console.
Follow Azik. I don't know how to use a console.
Yep. And you will make your way up to the bridge. But we'll follow those shenanigans out a little more in just a minute. First,
I'd like to point out something really quick,
mhm.
just in case Traven or the Targ pit where we normally keep the Targs is right next door to the galley. I'm just not sure if you're playing dumb or not knowing where we kept the Targs.
Honestly, Azik doesn't know. Doesn't remember.
Everybody
Raven has no idea.
knows for there's the door to come into the galley, and then there's the door into the Targ pit right next door.
Are they properly labeled?
Probably in
I
Klingon.
mean, they could have gotten out of those doors. There's a lot that are broke open.
Targs are essentially 3-foot tall boars covered in spikes.
The targ pit was empty.
Well, we've eaten them all then. And you know what targs are. You cook for Klingons. So somehow I
And you are cutting out a fair bit there, so let's revisit
sorry.
these. That's okay. Let us revisit those shenanigans here in a little bit. First, let's cut over. Wo, would you be ready to run your little scene at the shops?
Yeah, I should be good to go.
Excellent. So, a little ways after the captains and his group set off from the ship, you made your way out in appropriate dress. Now, tell me when you were quote unquote dressing up a little for this, was this more going for the battle dress, the improvised armor that you have all over, or are you just trying to make yourself look marginally more put together? Paint us a picture for the audience, if you will.
Oh, she's definitely got more armor on, but she's also inserted a few chains through her ears and her lips, and she not fully, but just enough to look like she's got those piercings. And she spiked up her mane into a full, because usually her hair is slicked back, but it's in a full mane, and she's kind of painted it red. So she doesn't really look like herself too much.
Yes, it is a very different look then.
Yes.
So, okay. So we'll properly reflect that in a moment here, but for now, let us set you about the proper scene. You have been strolling out in the out on the surface of the planet for some time now. The area that you were looking for seems to be near something of a warehouse area. One of the larger structures in the little settlement that you've encountered. Um, and there are still dozens more stalls set up in this area, but there's a slightly different vibe to this section, one that suggests a little more discernment, a little bit less flash out here. Um, there's still all manner of different species, and still ample Klingons in this area, but your focus is drawn towards a particular set of huts where you see a shorter individual working through his wares, one that you recognize not so much in the general principle. You were never one to truly commit species to memory, though something in the past might have told you that the name Euridian would come to mind. This, however, the only name that matters here is Hedron, and that is whom you approach here.
Okay, she's altered her gait. She's walking a little bit more confidently and full height. Usually she's kind of crouching.
Okay. So you are easy enough to see then, I take it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I'll go ahead and say that Hedron looks around and looks at you. Mercy! He says, just covering his face and like crouching down as best he can.
She walks confidently and stops Boots just out of the line of his sight. I assume he's kind of completely huddled over.
Yep.
And
He's
she
just
picks him up
shivering.
by his head. Okay. She picks him up by his head and brings him to eye level. Hello, Hedron. How are you today?
I can't complain. It's good to see you.
Oh, it's been a bit, hasn't it? Have you got anything for me?
Oh, I'm perfectly happy to supply you with what you need. I've got a few nice options if you're looking for a restock. What precisely can I get for you?
Oh, hang on. I'm sorry. 1 second. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Amidst this, a figure in the background may notice. You may be noticing that Hedron is being lifted up by his head and is maybe throwing you the slightest faint sort of signal of get help or come help or oh god, just do something.
Oh,
Sorry, I'm back. Okay. I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
I'm perfectly happy to help you with whatever you want. Tell me, what can I do for you? What do you need?
She moves her thumb from the side of his head to under his jaw and slams it upward. so his mouth clicks shut. That's enough talking from you. I need weapons for the outside of my ship. I'm expanding. I also need work for the new crew. Have you got anything tasty?
Weapons, you
She
say? As
she
I begin
turns
to
her
make
head.
my way over.
Who are you?
You are tall, aren't you? Zionol,
Hmm.
at your service.
Zionol, huh? She
What
puts
can I
Hedron down.
do for you?
I was just explaining to my old friend here. I'm looking for work, and I'm looking for weapons. You can offer me either, or you can go away.
Oh, is she the one you told me so much about, boss?
She turns to look at Hedron again.
Uh,
Have
uh,
you been talking when you haven't been supposed to be?
mm, I only from time to time mention we have good, very pleasant customers from time to time. Reliable customers. Customers whose patronage we value and who. Look, Zionel here is. He is a sensible colleague who knows when to keep his mouth shut. Um, which, Rev here, would you like to take a moment to describe Zionel's look as best as you could?
Zionol is a slender built humanoid. Very pale skinned. Currently wearing what appear to be like welding goggles because he was working on some equipment when Zionol when Hedron called him over. Features almost, you could almost say, how would it be best to describe? Bald headed, wearing this hood, and very almost bat like facial features, if you will.
Yeah. Such that you can see him as. I would think that much of his. Like.
You can tell as he's approaching that he likes to stay outside of any bright sources of light. As the way that he is dressed and just the way that he moves himself toward you.
Yes, he certainly seems like the type to keep his mouth shut from the way he's talking now.
Anything to help my employer.
As I was saying, Zional, in addition to having some good business sense, if it's ship weapons, if it's for a new ship in your fleet, oh, he has been quite serviceable when it comes to finding bargains that might work to equip your vessel. Of course, if you're looking for the best reliable ground equipment, then you know I am always your best benefactor.
She stops looking at Hedron and starts focusing on the other dude whose name I already forgot.
Zional.
Zionol. Okay. She hones in on Zionol and walks over to him. How tall is he, by the way?
He's maybe 5'10", 5'11". He's relatively short.
He's like standard human height. Okay.
Yeah, certainly
for his species, he's a little short.
Yeah, certainly for the abnormally tall felinoid, which for your purposes, Zionol, you don't know whether this is the norm or not.
Yeah, no. Hedron, whenever he got drunk, he would talk about the crazy cat lady, but that was about it.
Is Zionol saying that out loud, just to be
No.
clear?
No.
Okay.
No, absolutely not.
Would you care to let me down, please?
She
This-
looks at Hadrian, and she rips the chain out of her mouth and holds it up to his face and says, "If I ever hear that you've been talking about me or anyone in my compliment, each link of this is going through your fucking lip. Do you understand?"
Positively, secret safe with me.
She drops him and moves on to Zionol.
Yep.
And how may I be of service, mistress? I didn't catch the name.
And you won't catch the name.
Understood.
I'm looking for work. The kind of stuff that you don't talk about. And I'm looking for weapons for my ship.
Well,
Mind
work
you can't
unless
anything.
work unless you would care to be stuck in the employ of my benevolent employer. I may not have anything for you. But weapons, I can supply. What are you looking for?
What have you got?
Oh, I have a few options here. He starts to head over toward one pile of, at first appearance, scrap. You see, there was a minor altercation between the Syndicate and a Klingon D5 battle cruiser. Salvage teams didn't bring back much, but if you simply needed to repair any military grade disruptor weaponry, there's enough induction coils to bring them back to bear. But that's boring, isn't it?
Yes, I'm not looking for piles of shit, thank you.
Understood. We have a few other options. We had one of my suppliers trying to get rid of some old, I don't even know whose weaponry it was, some sort of phase pulse weaponry. It's antiquated, but they were willing to throw in a generous supply of photon torpedo casings to sweeten the deal. If you
Out of
are
character, do we need any of that stuff? Like, how low on are we on photon torpedoes or?
So
so I will I can
We've got
post
like 10 photon torpedoes. Our magazines are empty.
God
what the
damn.
two options currently. I can post what those are.
yes, and
Real quick.
I will go ahead and explain some things in meta. As you recall, you have presently taken the only damage to the ship, that is to say, a breach that you've sustained, is in your weapons systems right now. And as we've established narratively, there was essentially back at the start of the campaign when you had that initial encounter in Clock de Kelbracht, your disruptor coils had suffered some damage previously. Uh, Zionel, on one hand, does have the material to repair those disruptors, which would allow you to keep them as disruptor cannons, which have the vicious one effect. With the alternative is the phased pulse weaponry, which gives you the versatile one quality. Um, it would change the damage type, but you would still be in the cannon category, and it would remove some of the extra threat that I would assign if you guys were to ever fire off torpedoes.
Alright, crew, what are we wanting? Torpedoes?
Oh, I'm not done yet.
Oh shit, okay.
Someone of your caliber, shall we say. Perhaps is
We
looking to
shall.
continually expand their fleet, no?
Yes. Go
Well,
on.
this may be just what you are seeking. Hydrani frontier had some raiders hit it. There was some unique technology designed to disable vessels instead of simply destroy them. Ionic weaponry, they say. Perhaps more your required needs.
She thinks about this. Oh, God, that actually sounds really good. I want that. Oh, shit.
So the ionic weapons, out of character, will change the
Mhm.
cannons to where they have the piercing one and dampening one effects instead of vicious.
Mhm.
So it drains power and
Really
pierces through armor.
sounds really good, though. Is anyone object if I get that?
We're not there to object.
I don't care. I want your
Tabletop time.
opinions as crew,
Tabletop
out of
time.
character.
Yep. I'm fully willing to allow some meta discussion on this, as this does affect the campaign. If you prefer to, or it affects everybody on the ship. If you prefer to, like, those of you that wish to just let Woe have the agency on this are welcome to just say it's her choice.
Tabak would prefer to keep with technologies that he knows already.
Mm-hmm.
Typical Klingon, the typical Klingon design schema is you don't use anything untested or unknown, not in the field. It gets tested almost to destruction before anybody ever decides to use it in a ship. That's just the mentality behind it. You'll never find an experimental Klingon ship because they don't exist.
Perhaps
he
they
would
should, though.
Maybe, but he would
Not until General
prefer
Chang.
not until General Chang. But General Chang was exceptionally ambitious, and that sort of overrode his normal Klingon tendency towards knowing knowing everything is reliable and will always perform exactly the way it's supposed to perform. So, Tabak, being a typical Klingon engineer, as smart as he is probably just going to want to stick with shit he knows. I'm pretty
All right,
sure
well, what about
I'm pretty sure
Raldar?
that she would understand that.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
That's
What
my
about
input.
Raldar?
There you go.
Raldar's a bit more open-minded to trying new things.
Okay.
Where's the we're not exactly the conventional ship anyway.
Yeah, we're the minorities are the majority on this fucking ship. There's like no Klingons.
There's three.
Okay.
There's three.
Or if you count Azik.
Yeah. Wow.
Huh?
Two and a half.
Or
of
if you count Azik. Because we have Kelsa as well.
Oh, yes. Wait,
Oh, I forgot about
Kelsa
Kelsa.
Klingon?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
that's right. All right.
3
My bad.
Klhach and 1 Hemkuch.
Gesundheit.
I was expecting that. Either that or
Oh
chat
my
to tell me
God.
that I shouldn't clear my throat on stream.
Yes.
All right.
So
Can I insight check
in the
this
end,
dude real
the
quick?
decision is just going to be yours because you're the one who's there.
Oh, you're insight checking me?
I know.
All
I'm
right.
insight checking Zynal. Yes. Yes. I love the sliminess of this dude.
Very good.
Uh.
That would be my presence in
Okay.
command. Right?
That would be, yes, that would be your presence and command. versus
And can I use my
Woe's.
negotiation focus?
Absolutely. And
Oh,
Woe,
I'm
this
also
will.
using that.
Yep, that will be insight and command for you. And yeah. Zional, I also think this happens to count as an activation, so.
It's a tie.
Oh boy, just taking a look at that exact roll there. So that, yeah, that does come out to 2 successes each. Um, Woe, your very your incisive bit of scrutiny on this man meets the implacable, obsequious, an implacable, obsequious nature. Something that like whatever suspicions you have of this man, you can't quite get a read, or at least you are uncertain how much of a read you can truly get on him. Zional, for your part, you feel that she's definitely probing into you. You can at least give what you would be projecting here if you think that Zional is like if you think there's any small thing that Zional might be hinting at or otherwise. Yeah.
He's clearly trying to sell you the ionic weaponry. Clearly trying to sell you that.
Okay.
Like he's not hiding the fact that he's trying to sell you the ionic weaponry.
Yeah. God, I don't feel like I'm talking to a really shitty car salesman. Okay, I guess we'll just go with what we know, unfortunately, because I quite did want the ionic weaponry, but we'll go. I'm sorry. What was the second thing? Was it energy
The
pulse?
the first one was ensuring we keep disruptors. The second one was the phased pulse weapons with extra torpedoes.
Phase pulse.
That's the one you want to go with?
Okay.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Are you
Hold on.
sure? These are very antiquated weapons, even by our standards.
She looks around to the sky and then looks back at him. Listen. This is a new ship. They won't be expecting it. It's such bullshit. But she leans forward and she's like, I'm gonna have this, and you're gonna throw in one of those coils, and you're gonna give me a discount. If it's so antiquated, you should be happy to get rid of it.
Quite frankly, you're not entirely wrong, but and I'm not really in a position to disagree with your negotiation tactics, am I? He says as he just looks up at her.
I'd say you're in hardly any position at all. What are you, 2 feet tall?
Compared to you, no doubt. Very well, on one condition.
Name it.
It wasn't Hedron that found all these. It was me. I know how to find things. And you sound like someone who needs to find things. Get me off this dump.
Are you planning on coming off this shit stain of a planet permanently? Or just long enough
Anything
to find...
get away from his whining and his overbearing amount of profit sharing in his direction.
She breathes in deep. Alright. But you're bringing the ionic weapons too. We're not leaving anything behind. If we're taking you, we're taking it all.
You say that like there's room to fit all these aboard one ship.
I'll make room.
Well, that's between you and your ship. If you have the room, I don't know what you're going to do with all those weapons on one ship because they won't all fit. But and I highly doubt.
If they don't all fit, we'll hawk the useless ones. But you're coming. And so are they.
Just clear that with my soon-to-be former employer, and we can be off.
No. Hadrian! She yells for him, without
Oh.
looking away from Xylon.
Oh, yes, I'm here, and I have a lovely assortment of good ground-based weapons that should be of excellent use to equipping your crew. I have a few.
Oh yes, you should look at those.
Few
I'm not speaking in metaspeak.
a few varieties of packages here, depending on what sort of use you would have for them or what you're looking to do.
Hadrian, stop talking. I'm taking this man and all the weapons he's offered, and you're gonna put it on my tab. I'll be back here in 1 week. Do you understand?
1 week. Oh, wait, but he's
Do
quite.
you understand?
He shrinks a little bit, or he would seem to deflate, in a sense, before regaining his composure and offering a smile. Of course, for my best customer, or one of my best, how could I stand to refuse you?
Good boy.
Will
Come
you?
along, Zynal. She's ignoring him completely. She's just walking away.
Will you be wanting something from the ground equipment and anything specialized? I'll be here. Just
Please look at the weapons, please.
Oh, fine. She turns back.
oh, very good. I have a whole array of good quality weapons from more close combat oriented elements. Good for if you ever need to get in exceptionally close with your crew. Certain types of assault weapons. Fairly standard arrays of blades, disruptor type weapons. Some weapons that come a bit less standard. Like the oh dear, what even to show you? And he'll pull out an array of a few different sorts of weapons. There's some that seem fairly bog standard. At least one package that includes a few different types of pistols, whose strongest weapons are longer straight blades and sort of standard, reasonably well kept disruptor rifles. The more close quarters oriented one seems to feature a variety of knives, pistols, and, well, a few interesting weapons, such as what appears to be an electrified bludgeon of sorts, a truncheon, if you will, and also a sort of, as Hedron describes it, a pulsed wave type of particle weapon that is good for clearing out crowded hallways or people that are clustered together. The most aggressive of these, however, is definitely uh, a set of equipment that includes a plasma weapon that's capable of spraying out numerous bolts at a very fast speed, albeit at the cost of accuracy, and a set of thermite grenades.
She points at the set with the thermite grenades. These ones. I want these ones.
Oh, excellent choice. Excellent choice here. Yes, 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 yes. These explosives are quite good. I'll put these on your tab as well.
Thank you, Hydron.
Yes.
You've been most gracious.
I'll have everything ready to move in a week. I suppose I can expect, well, the next installment relatively soon.
Yes. Relatively soon. And she pats him on the cheek with her claws out, just so they kind of dig in, but not too much.
He winces very slightly at this. It's like, well, we'll be seeing you and Zional.
Always a pleasure.
So with that, he just kind of he grins for as long as you are in like earshot or rather in visual before like just before maybe after Woe rounds the corner, but not quite Zional. He visibly like just gasps a little bit over the stress of the situation.
I turn to Zyle. You really realize I'm sending you back for that assault package as soon as his back is turned, right?
Am I in a position to say no?
Of course not. I mean, she tilts her head, looks at him. I suppose you can, but you'll regret it.
I'll see what I can do.
My ship is. What's our dock number?
I don't know that they assigned numbers, but for the sake
Bay
of argument,
12.
yes, Bay
Dr.
It's
Bay
Bay
94.
That's too many voices at once, guys.
Tabak
We're
has
gonna just pretend I told them where we are.
Yep,
Bay
Tabak
12,
has given the
please.
canonical answer.
Bay 12, please.
Oh my god. Okay. We'll be here. Come with everything I've told you to bring.
I'll do what I can.
Pack heavy. We're gonna be in the sky a while. With that, she turns and leaves.
He will not, in fact, do what he can.
I didn't expect him to. God.
What he can is
Never
not
heard
doing
of-
it.
Yep.
In worst case scenario, if their ship has a transporter, you can tell them, I couldn't move all of it. I guess we'll just have to take these convenient, like, sensor readings and coordinates that I've cordoned off and beam what's at that site.
God.
Zionol knows better
Good
than
job
to burn
on the voice,
bridges.
by the way. It absolutely creeps.
Thank you. I'm going for my best Riemann voice here, so.
Oh, very nice.
Yes. But yes, congratulations. You now have a new supporting character.
Woo!
So, elsewhere on the planet, I guess we bounce back to the ship, where I know that we
The
have...
targ hunts.
Yes. Back aboard the ship, on the targ hunt, you have made your way up to the bridge. Now, let's see. There are people not in this scene right now, so that would not include Woe or Tabak at the moment. But we do have Vopry. We have Azik, who is coming in with Traven. And of course, sitting in the captain's chair for now. And oh dear, we need to shrink that down a bit.
No, I think that's the perfect size, actually.
Perfect.
Yeah. Sitting in the captain's chair, we have, of course, Cheshire.
The true captain of the ship.
But yes, the two of you arrive. Oh, hello, Azik. Oh, hello, Chef. Do you prefer Chef Traven or Chef Lex or just Chef, or what is your preferred naming convention? I am sorry, I do not speak to you as much. I am.
Lecture Traven.
Okay. I am not comfortable in social settings.
That's okay. You're trying. That's what matters. Find the targs.
Oh, what?
I was just asking Azik to find the targs for me. Quickly. Sick.
Yeah, I go over to the computer
Okay.
and search the ship for targs
Okay.
and check the. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say that will be a reason and science roll, difficulty of 1, with an assist from the ship's sensors and science.
I'm actually really good at that.
But the question is, how good is Azik? He's bad at it. Azik, as you attempt to activate the sensors, you find that you are not able to locate any. It's very puzzling to you. You don't seem to locate any in a at least 500-meter radius around the ship, and you're not sure why.
There are none of around that we can see.
That's impossible. Can I try?
Be my guest. I go and polish my console.
Okay, Traven, same roll, reason and science. And if you get a success, you can be assisted by the ship's sensors and science, and that is difficulty of 1.
May I use my survival focus since I'm tracking something?
I don't think it applies quite for this.
Fair enough. Did it. One
And
success.
that is 1 success. So if somebody wants to roll for the ship with sensors and science, you have the possibility of getting momentum. Until then, well, no help from the ship there, but you still scored the 1 success that was necessary. Traven, it does occur to you why, as it couldn't detect could not actually detect the targs that were on board. He had actually activated the external sensors instead of the internal sensors, so he was not getting a readout for the targs that should be on this vessel. Yeah.
Okay. See, it's really confusing. I do it sometimes too. You accidentally activated the externals. You gotta activate the internals. You can be real finicky with old systems like this.
I thought that's what you wanted. Playing it off, of course.
90% of the time, I don't know what I want. My brain just tells me in the instance.
I can see how you came up with Gawk Pockets then. Well done.
I'm a spur of the moment man. I'll die that way.
Yep. Uh, So nonetheless, as you review the sensor telemetry, you find that the targ pen is indeed empty alongside the galley. What perhaps is slightly more puzzling would be that there is indeed signs that you are reading out targs are actually on that deck. Uh, but for some reason, they appear to be moving. Well, it seems as though at least a few of the targs are moving around in the consumables storage, and at least one is in a place that, by the proper hull plan, there doesn't seem to be a corridor on. It almost seems to be. The readout would suggest it might be in a crawl space somehow. Not a proper crawl space, mind you, but rather sort of a bit of bulkhead between like a chamber of the ship and like a bit of the armoring, sort of among conduits and what have you.
Hmm. Okay, so there's one in the crawl space, and there's one in consumables. I say we go to the consumables one first, because we don't have a lot of that.
Okay. So the two of you make your way back, and Vilpry, who is curious about what's going on. Oh, oh no! Oh, how did they? How I do not include me in this. I am. Please no. I am not here for this.
Fair enough.
Captain Vopry, the ship is yours. And then we go wandering back.
Just leave Vopry with the widening of his pitch black eyes. Oh, I am I the captain? Cheshire looks back to him with a glare that says, "Of course not. Know your place." To which Vopry merely replies, "Okay." So, yeah, the the next few minutes that ensue, have you getting back to the have you making your way back to the that area of the deck, and you open up the consumables bay. Um, let's see. This would I don't think would be necessarily a proper cargo bay. I can't remember, Tabak, when we discussed this with the layout. I can't remember what we had worked out with this.
The maps are in the words of the Lord
Yes,
Singers
I have the
tab.
I do have that up right now, but I'm working out the elements of the layout here, so it's essentially
Which
like
deck?
main deck, the consumables storage area. Was that something other than a cargo bay? Was it meant to be chambers of a?
The okay on the main deck there are smaller cargo holds here,
I see.
that are meant for like
Well,
just regular old kind of storage of stuff.
yeah.
And you can the galley's right there, the targ pen is right there, the captain's office is between the galley and the cargo pit or cargo bay. Um, there are the dedicated. I mean, all the cargo bays are essentially dedicated cargo bays, but the bigger cargo bays are on the sub deck. Um, and there's sort of personnel storage here and there, personal storage space.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I
yeah,
think I've got what we're working with here. So,
okay. But of
uh,
course, the only access ways in between decks are either the big elevator or the ladder ways.
certainly,
Ship is too small for turbo lifts.
yes. So, the two of you make your way through make your way down the corridor from the bridge into what appears to be the nearest personnel, like the nearest consumable storage area. Traven, you might have had slight occasion to move through here, but probably spent more time concentrated in the galley and between that and your quarters. Yeah. Azik, you join him in. The lights are presently at a very low level, even by Klingon standards. And yeah, the things are somewhat quiet when you initially step in.
All right, you first.
I go in. I'm assuming there's a panel next to the door for the lights.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I hit the lights and just slowly bring them up.
As you do so, you hear the indistinct sounds of like snorting and growling in the background. Something is beginning to stir.
Um, I I holler back to Traven. All clear. Come on in.
I walk in.
Okay, you make your way in, and I think that's right about the time that the first of the targs begins to charge out at you. So let's see. In absence of the proper sheet here, this is going to be a daring and security from them, and I guess Traven, you're the first one that is now in their path at this point. So let's give them 2d20s. That is going to be one success. So daring and security to dodge and or wrangle them. You have to beat a 1 on this, Traven. You do, and
Oh my
are you
God.
you manage to grab hold of the targ? Are you trying to go for like a grapple, or are you trying to like? Do you try to just grab onto it? Do you try to shove it out of your path? What are you aiming to do?
I think I'm gonna try and just push it to the ground.
Okay, you do.
Establish dominance.
Gotcha. So you have it, and you manage to knock it to the ground, surprising it a little bit. It kind of looks up at you with the eyes as if to say, "What? What?" Uh,
I have
and
to hang on for 8 seconds.
Yep. As you hang on, Azik, you probably take note. There is one additional targ moving through, and it too is beginning to rush. This one coming for you. Oh no! It scores a complication.
Yay!
Go
So,
ahead.
GM, how would you like to handle that? Would you like it to be near?
No, I'm. First, I would like to see Azik roll, but I am perfectly willing to allow this to be a narrative complication for the targ. I guess
Yeah.
this might describe how we're getting dinner tonight.
All right. Daring and security again.
Yep.
I'm going to use a momentum. We have 4 of them, so I'm going to use one.
Sounds good.
And hand-to-hand combat would work for this for my focus.
Yep. In this case, more hand to tusk, and that is 2 successes, so that is going to earn you back that 1 point of momentum and give you a bonus. The targ having rolled an 18 and a 20, the latter of which gives it a complication. So, yeah, Azik, describe to me not just how you divert this targ or what you do to this targ, but I will let you set up the complication here.
Well, I was thinking about forcefully moving it out of the way, so I'm thinking that I tried to plant my boot firmly against its head and maybe did a little too much damage on its spine, if that's possible. To maybe where it's not necessarily kill it, but it's dazed for a second.
Paralyzed
You know,
from the waist down.
May I
Go ahead.
may I modify that slightly?
Yeah, of course.
You effectively daze it with a strategic planting of your boot. Uh, it sends it back into the one of the racks of consumables. A crate falls from the very top and lands atop its head. This targ has just been wharfed.
Fresh meat.
Looks
Meat
like
for
meat's
God.
back on the menu, boys.
That was funny.
Yes.
Traven, you good there?
His name is Barrymore, and he's my friend now.
The third targ makes its way out from the crawl space that it has apparently been using to traverse this place. Inexplicably, it seems to have an improvised collar, which you probably both guessed is of Woe's making. Mr. Fluffums lives.
Yes! Yes!
For now.
Don't you say
Hey,
shit. Don't
hey,
you do that.
Traven, which ways to let's lead this one into Woe's room. She'll appreciate that.
I grab the dead one's body and I kind of drag it as bait towards Woe's room.
Are these guys meat
Excuse
eaters?
me.
If memory
Targs
serves,
they're fairly omnivorous.
yep.
They're like
Okay.
boars.
Yeah, I mean, if it can go into their mouths, they will probably eat it.
Yep.
All right. Would that be a control and possibly command or science?
To maneuver the targs.
Yeah, try to taunt. We want to move the one that's still alive into the targ pit, and the one that's the special one, we want to move that one into Woe's room.
Okay. So I guess since you are moving them two separate places, each of you will give me a command and control roll with any sort of animal handling type focus applying here.
Don't ham it up now.
Well, I think for Azik that'd be sufficient. Let me give this rolls from each of them. So that's going to be. Tell you what, I will call it this, so it will be. As you've established dominance in one of the cases already, I think that will just be okay. That's one success for the first one, which Azik will beat, and one success in the others. So, Traven, whichever targ you elect to pick, it will buck just a little bit more, maybe bristle its tusks a little bit, but still be able to. It will still obey your commands. Azik, meanwhile, you have a pretty easy time with your one firm hand leading the targ along. It is whichever one you took either was effectively tamed in the moment or is at least a little more differential to you. Perhaps it is the familiar Klingon smell that instills that level of discipline. But yeah. So while the Targ misadventures go on back aboard the ship, I guess there is time for one more scene, maybe a little bit on the quicker end, but we can swap out and bring in our away team here, or rather the bigger landing party, which we'll just be sticking with theater of the mind on this one. the second locator puck has taken you to, I would say, a slightly seedier area, more like along some of the, I would say along to some of the stalls that are a little more run down, maybe a few of the tents. One of them appears to be next to a prefab structure that has a sign in a few languages, one at least being Klingon that is recognizably referring to some sort of like an allusion to some sort of space venture type area.
Is
Or
this in the same area of the town?
it's a
Like we didn't have to go tromping all the way back several calicams.
you had a little more of a you had to haul a little bit more space in order to get where you were or where you
Okay.
are now.
Okay.
But as the three of you arrive in this area, one fairly burly Kaha steps out of the building. He seems to be decked out with well, he's actually mostly like very sort of plainly arrayed. You would guess Raldar, at least from the look of him, there's maybe a slight bit of wear that suggests a very old Imperial style equipment, or maybe like light parts of an older, or like a slightly different style of uniform, but something more very worn down um, and not at all complete. It certainly isn't the style that is in vogue today, which is mostly like complete coverings, including the helmet with the fake ridges, essentially. Uh, this man, he bears his arms, and which both of which sport different bits of machinery around the wrists. There's also something fairly large, hulking in metal over his back, and his face is definitely older, wizened, and features a fair-sized eye patch that seems more or less bolted into the skull. Hey, uh, you look like
Out of
a sorry bunch here.
out of character, I do not remember what the potential job is with this
This was something vaguely mining related. Dasana couldn't tell you much more than that.
guy. All right, thank you. Now I'm remembering. Thank you.
Yep.
It like my brain was not functioning
Yep.
properly.
Nukne!
Ugh, nah. What he obviously, as I hold up the puck going off in my hand.
I got you. You're looking for work. That's right.
You were
Sorry.
looking for some do work. We are looking for work. I am here to see if our goals are compatible.
Depends. You got a ship?
Yes.
You got a well-armed ship.
Yes.
Uh, well then, that's a simple thing. I can send along the orders, and I have a pretty flat rate here. And he begins to he basically throws out an amount, roughly of. He throws out an amount of marks that would be quite a bit more decent than what you've been offered before. Uh, look, just a pretty got a pretty simple job here. We have a mining claim um, that needs enforcing. They just gotta take out some. Are looking to extricate some squatters. So if you are up for a little bit of work there, we can supply you all the information you need. It's out in the Talinor system.
And where is that?
A little bit more, rimward uh, of the main empire. I'd say roughly something more galactic south. There's a number of rich dilithium deposits that have been identified, and well, we're on the verge of mining one of them. But the some blasted Creel seem to be moving in on that claim, so I need someone a little more capable of driving him off is all.
Have they a ship of their own?
Probably. Don't imagine they got there and started mining it without it, but if you got a
As
good ship...
in, as in, you know what I mean? Do they have a ship ready to fight when we show up?
Probably. We don't know the exact details there, just from long-range telemetry. I trust you can handle that, or are you exaggerating how well-armed your ship is?
I am not.
Well, that's
Kill,
for,
kill,
that's for you
kill,
to
kill
find
them.
out.
Kill them. Drive them away.
Ah,
That's the entirety of the job.
Tehachme, which you recognize as a very colloquial "I don't care which."
Ah, half now. Half on completion.
Sure, why not? Send me I'll pull out a panel. It's lucky I was just about to run by the den and see if there was another crew there, but, well, I expect before this transfer goes through that you'll send a signal of your own. I want to know who and what I'm hiring, of course. Speaking of,
Captain Tabak of the House of Cord. Captain of the Yan.
never heard of any of you, but
Probably not.
if your ship is of decent armament, and if I'm satisfied of that, I'll transfer the payments right away. Or at least if you accept the job, and I find you acceptable.
I'll take the job. How long? Wait, real quick, Mr. GM. Does the puck tell me how long the job has been open?
Uh, this one's probably been open for. It looks like it was placed in the past few days, but, no shortage of raiders and other warriors here.
The job has already been open for several days. It would be that much more difficult to root them out.
Not everyone likes cleaning up space trash.
That we do.
Well, you saved me some work, so I think I am just going to go back inside, grab some of the food I have had prepared. Well, I guess you just send me that information, because I'll be right here, ready to eat. And ready to consume that. You know what I mean.
Yes.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Go eat. Give me your communication code.
Yep. He'll exchange. You'll do the exchanging of digits and be along your way.
Yep. And then we start heading back to the ship.
Yep.
Why do I hear yakety sax playing from the ship?
That is an excellent question. Now, you arrive in the turbo lift roughly the same time that Woe does, and the four of you, rather, I guess 5 of you at this point, if Zionel makes a point of rendezvousing earlier.
And I'm looking at Woe going, that
Yep.
is a different look, Woe.
She does not acknowledge you.
Yeah. It's also worth noting that there is one additional individual ready to meet you at the ship.
So, this is your ship, is it? I say to Whoa.
This is
No, this is my ship.
Oh.
Whoa,
This
who
is
is
who
this?
we are employing for this ship.
Oh.
Excuse me?
Mr. Taybok. She gives him like a wink. Mr. Taybok, would you please take this thing and show him where you want our new weapon system?
Mr. Tabok, a pleasure to make your acquaintance. As I reach out my hand to shake his.
I do not take it.
It hangs there for a minute.
My arms are definitely still crossed over my chest as I'm sort of looking at Woe,
Zionel's smile remains fixed.
but not hitting his eyes at all, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. It started genuine, but has since faded from the eyes.
Woe, speak with me. And I start walking away.
I'll be bringing in the rest of the weapons. I guess.
She does not move until Zynel's out of sight.
Um, as the two of you leave them behind, Dekoth, Raldar, and and Zionel can't help but notice that you've been joined by an impeccably coiffed Klingon.
Zionel, a
Well,
pleasure to
hello
make your
again.
acquaintance.
Oh.
You get a pet or something?
Wait, I'm sorry, Raldar. Who are you talking to?
Yes.
No! Oh,
See,
shit.
this is where it's going to get confusing.
Oh, God.
We have multiple players pretending to be multiple other people
Yep.
at the same time.
Well, in future scenes, we will try not to jam characters in the same place, but this is just with the exception of Zionel offering a greeting, I think that the Klingon, whose name I don't think has been mentioned yet in character, is just going to sneak aboard.
Yeah, I'm sure with a compliment to his terrible cooking, Traven let him on the ship.
Yep. But while the four of them enter the ship, whether they ought to be there or not, Tabok, Woe, the two of you are left to your own devices outside the ship.
Explain yourself. And I'm keeping it quiet and facing basically. Oh, I mean, the other dude went walking off, but I'm just keeping my back toward in the direction that he disappeared through.
She's maintaining her stance in case he's anywhere nearby, and the tone of her voice, but she's talking to him. Captain, it is the only way I could get a hold of these weapons. Through a former contact, I had to go a little bit more incognito than I would otherwise. And in doing so, I had to pretend to be the captain of this vessel and another. Would you play along until we've got the weapon systems?
Not an instant longer.
Once we're in space, I don't give a shit. As soon as I can, I'm getting this shit out of my mind.
I do not like this. I do not enjoy deception.
No, but you'll be damn
I do
fine
not
at it.
being.
And she kind
I
of
do not. I do not like being forced into something that
I don't like being
may
in the air
damage
without
my
weapons.
honor in some way.
That slimy little greaseball isn't gonna damage shit. We'll space him if we have to.
Where are the weapons?
He's got to bring them back with him. We'll be out of here soon.
It's done quickly.
Yes, sir.
But
And she walks away.
do not attempt to order me around like that again.
What?
Do not attempt to order me around until we have what we need. Thank you. And then I get on board the ship.
Sorry, you cut out what?
Oh yeah, cut out.
Shit.
Hold on.
I
said,
only got some
you
of
still
that.
hear me now? I said, do not.
Yeah,
do
I can
not
hear
give
you.
me
It's just after you said "do not attempt to order me around," it got out.
right. And then I get on board the ship. Essentially. Well, I have to wait. I have to bring the elevator back down because they already went up in the elevator, but I gotta wait, bring it down.
Yep. There's
Get back
the awkward moment of waiting for the elevator to come back down and letting the final word set. But yep, with a little bit of time after that, you head on up and you move up to the ship. So with that, I think that is a place to call the session for tonight. So
Perfect
I think that also
place to do it.
Yep, that effectively caps off this episode. So we will next week we will come back with something new. But until then, this is where we leave off in the archive. So we hope you enjoyed this and have a good rest of your day.